Welcome to Easy English by Edising. And today, again, in the series of Fun with English, we are going to have a formal discussion, and the discussion will be just as spontaneous. We begin with the question that I'm going to ask you. That children nowadays are very ambitious. They aspire to become scientists. They want to become, journalists. Some of them want to become technocrat engineers. Some of them want to become politicians. There are a lot of talks about the children's higher ambition. Don't you think this is too much? I mean, the children should first try to understand what is required for them: a good education, or a good future, or a good prospect. What do you think is more important? A good education, good prospect, good ambition, or a high dream? What is more important? Okay, if you think that a good education is the foundation, then only comes the ambition. Am I right?
Yes,
Ambition comes definitely. Ambition doesn't, come in the way of it. Ambition comes second, but the first one is a good education. Now, in the schools and colleges, we really see a lot of changes. Am I right? In the perception of the people. Now, many of the children think that they will only become IITian, they will only become IAS, they will only become an IPS, they want to become a scientist.
Yes.
Nobody wants to become a good citizen. What is the reason? Good citizen. First, we need to have a good citizen. India will become great only when we have good citizens. Am I right?
Yes,
So
sir.
don't you think that people are now understanding the concept of having a good life? A good life doesn't necessarily require, to become a status, or a rank holder. You may have good status, but you may not be a good person. Don't you think? What is your opinion, Maharishi, about what is more important? A good education, a good ambition, a good dream, or a good, education? What is more important for a child?
Sir, all of these are important, sir.
Can you give the explanation of how do you think that a good education is helpful,
Yes,
and then
sir.
after that a good foundation, a good, nurturing is important? How
Yes,
do you
sir.
think that?
Unless and until, sir, if a person is good, is a much more educated, he can't become a good citizen. And if he is not a good citizen, then he can't do anything for the society or the country what he want to do.
But generally it is
Yes,
seen
sir.
that even an educated person becomes corrupt later on in his
Yeah.
life. What is the meaning of education if a person, doesn't think about national interest? He thinks about his personal interest. Many of the officers you
Sir,
see,
almost all
they
the
are
person
charged
think
of
of their
corruption. Yes.
own interest.
No, that is the problem. India is now having this biggest challenge, that the modern generation, the 21st century generation, no doubt, they are
Yes, sir.
having a lot of aspirations, a lot of hope, a lot of dream. But the thing is that how will they make this dream true unless and until they will, root out corruption? Because India is now facing the challenge of corruption. You people are going to now root out corruption. But
Yes,
when
sir.
you are talking about that, a good ambition is also important. A good, life is also important. When you think of a good life, naturally you will have to neglect the principles of life. Principle of doesn't, you are having a lot of money, luxuries.
Yes,
Luxuries are the second requirement. The first requirement is, values. Children are now lacking values. They don't have values like truth, honesty, and integrity. Most of the children now just they think like their parents, that if their parents can afford 5 cars, they will have 10 cars. They will have one bungalow or two bungalows. What is that? Do you think? Luxuries is the index of being a,
No, sir.
successful
No,
person.
sir.
I don't think luxury is that.
And sir, if we want to eliminate corruption, sir, then it is depend only on sir own maturity of a person. And sir, he is a sir, how much education he or she is getting during his childhood by their parents.
Very good. That means the educational background, the parental background
Yes.
also matters.
Yes, sir.
Now, ethical values or moral values is declining day by day. What do you think is the reason? Many of the, in schools there is nothing like moral values. Teaching is there, but many of the schools ignore that it is not the subject matter, it is not in the syllabus. Don't you think it is very important
Yes,
to
sir, it is very
inculcate
important.
moral values in the children? Am I right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Snansu, what is your opinion about that?
Sir, because school not focusing that this subject is not valuable for children life.
In every subject there are some moral values. Even if you're learning science, there are some implication of moral values in science. Am I right?
Yes.
Don't you think that the teachers should focus on truth, honesty, integrity, hard work? Am I right? and people's involvement. Am I right?
Yes.
Now, don't you think now schools and colleges should also be made a community center? Don't you think that the parents should be allowed to come once a week and interact with the teachers and children and talk about the social issues? Am I right? Don't you think we can utilize schools and colleges as community center? Am I right?
Yes.
If we spend one day in a week and make the, I mean, symposium or gathering and allow the parents to express their problems, social problems, and share this problem with the students and find out the solution, I think it will be a good idea. Am I right?
Yes, sir, good.
Okay. You just tell us what is your thinking about how these young, I mean, brigades, the young children, can help our country become great. How can these? Yes. Present Goa.
Yes,
Yes. Just 2 minutes more.
continue.
Yes. I was asking this question to that these girls. Then, what is your opinion about? I mean, how can you really help the young brigade are more responsible, more accountable? How can they help make India become great? As a child, what do you think? As a child, you are also a child. You can also contribute something. Yes.
Yes.
What is your opinion about that?
So, if a young child can be more responsible for their desire, they can get more valuable job.
But how can, I mean, a young child become more responsible? That is the question. Yes, Kunal. How can you show that you are more responsible towards the nation, towards the society?
As a good citizen,
How will you become a good citizen? That is the question.
sir,
By
solving
gaining all the
social
moral
issues.
values from their
See,
parents.
see, you people do not have to think more about moral. Only thing is that you should be always true and you should be always, I mean,
Faithful.
honest to your work. If a child is doing everything honestly and if he is concerned about the welfare of the family, first you start with the family. You think what are the problems, the issues that many of the families face? For example, nowadays the biggest challenge is that in a family is burdened with in responsibility and population. In India, in one family, if there are 5 children, education of 5 children is not an easy task. Am I right? So how can you really convince the people that there should be a small size of family? This is also one of the issues. People in India, they don't bother about size of family. This is a very bad thing.
Yes.
Size of the family matters. So how can you convince the people that no, a small family is a good family? How can you? Yes, please, Maharishi. How can you make, I mean, people understand that larger, I mean, members of family or big population is also a big issue?
Sir, if they are not earning good amount of money, sir,
Don't
can
you
get-
think, don't you think education has become very costly? Yes.
yes, sir. Why education?
How do you think education has become very costly?
So education has become very costly because nowadays many government school has been closed. So all the private school
public
has been
schools,
closed to high fee and
They charge a higher fee.
charge higher fee
Yes.
and the poor family does not
They can't afford to
they can't
send their
afford to
children.
send.
What is your opinion? Government schools should also improve their quality of education.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you think the quality of teachers in government schools is far more superior to those of public schools? So yes, there are, but the only thing is that they are not paying attention.
Yes, sir.
Should government, I mean, give more emphasis to open more and more government schools so that more and more, I mean, the people can be accommodated, more and more children can be accommodated? Don't you
Yes,
think if the number of schools run by the government will be more, definitely the,
Then
I
education
mean,
will be
fee will
possible.
be less because the government also bears the fee. Whereas in public school, what happens that they are actually increasing the fee day by day. Many of the parents can't afford to pay the fee. Am I right?
Yes.
What is your opinion about this? The increase of fee nowadays in many of the schools. And at random they increase every year. They are increasing the fee.
Yes, sir.
Do you think this is right or wrong?
No,
Sir,
sir.
very much wrong, sir.
But then
there is a
yes, but then what do you think is the main reason of increase in fee? Yes, what is the main reason?
Because the
Sir,
people want more
because
money.
they want to
They
hire-
want,
to be more richer,
more
they
money.
want
They
to
are
go-
greedy,
Yes,
but
sir.
they are not. I mean, education conscious. They should think
They don't think
that
about the
actually
poor
schools
people.
and institutions are not meant for only
They are
earning
not
money.
a-
Many of the
They
public
want to
schools
hire
have become, earning machines. Am I right? Earning factories, earning money factories. They have made the schools like commercial centers. Am I right?
Yes.
So what should the government do to reduce this problem?
Sir, by implementing harsh rules, sir,
on public school.
Only rules should be held. What see if there are more yes, if there are more government school, I think that will help.
Yes, sir.
See now, why they are doing this? Whatever they have a monopoly of increasing the fee. They know that there is no, I mean, alternative. If there are good schools run by the government, the state government as well as central government, ultimately their demand will be less. Am I right?
Yes,
They will not increase the fee. So the government should think about improving the quality of education in government school, particularly in providing all the infrastructure, because the infrastructure matters. What matters? Infrastructure. Don't you think infrastructure of the college school is better? Am I right?
Yes,
No, don't you think that the infrastructure matters a lot?
Yes,
Yeah. How do you think infrastructure matter a lot?
Sir, because sir,
Many of the government schools there is no computer. Am I right? There is no
Yes, sir.
internet.
smart class also.
Yeah, there is no, but in public school there is smart class. Am I right? Children are attracted to the smart class. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So what are we going to do? I mean, what do you think the government should do about the government school? Should the government school? I mean,
They
they,
do all
they
the things
should
like the
develop
private
the-
schools.
yeah,
so the
that,
government
don't you think that the government should improve the quality of
Yes, sir.
education, improve the infrastructure?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Unless
sir.
in that, see now, unless the government school doesn't provide, I mean, the better infrastructure, better equipments, better, I mean, learning
Teachers
condition,
also, sir.
better environment. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
The children will not be attracted to
Amount of teachers,
I mean,
sir.
government school. They will depend on public school. Am I right?
Yes,
And that will be a big problem. Yes, Maharashi?
Yes, sir.
So we conclude by saying that the government has to now think about improving the environment, infrastructure, and the quality of education in the government school. And more government schools will be open rather in every district and every small town. Am I right? Then only this problem can be resolved. Am I right?
Yes,
Thank you very much for sharing your valuable ideas. I'm sure we will take this issue further in the second video. All right? Okay, thank you very much.